Kantian ethics is a moral philosophy that argues actions are right or wrong based on duty rather than consequences. It is a form of deontological ethics, meaning it focuses on rules and principles rather than the outcomes of actions. According to this theory, people should act according to moral laws that apply to everyone, regardless of personal desires or circumstances. A key idea in Kantian ethics is the categorical imperative, which is a rule stating that a person should only act in a way that they would want everyone else to act. This means making ethical choices based on reason and fairness, rather than emotions or personal benefit. Kantian ethics was developed by the German philosopher Immanuel Kant in the 18th century. He wanted to create a moral system that did not rely on religion or personal opinions, but instead was based on reason. Kant believed that morality should be universal, meaning that moral rules should apply to everyone in all situations. He introduced the concept of the categorical imperative as a way to determine right and wrong. His ideas were written in works such as Groundwork of the Metaphysics of Morals and Critique of Practical Reason, which laid the foundation for modern discussions on ethics. Kant's philosophy has influenced law, politics, and ethical debates for centuries. Now let's look at some examples of Kantian ethics in action. Suppose a person finds a lost wallet full of money. According to Kantian ethics, they should return it to its owner because it is their moral duty to be honest, not because they expect a reward or fear punishment. Another example is telling the truth, even when lying would lead to a better outcome. Kantian ethics argues that lying is always wrong because if everyone lied, trust in society would break down. A third example is treating others with respect, regardless of personal feelings. Under this philosophy, people should never use others as a means to an end, meaning they should not manipulate or exploit others for personal gain. These examples show how Kantian ethics emphasizes duty, honesty, and fairness in decision-making. One strength of Kantian ethics is that it provides clear moral guidelines that do not change based on the situation. Unlike other ethical theories that allow exceptions, Kantian ethics insists that moral rules should be followed at all times, making it a reliable framework for decision-making. Another strength is that it respects human dignity by treating all people as valuable and worthy of respect. By focusing on principles rather than consequences, it prevents people from justifying harmful actions simply because they lead to good results. Additionally, Kantian ethics promotes fairness by requiring individuals to consider whether their actions could be universally applied, encouraging moral consistency. One weakness of Kantian ethics is that it can be too rigid, making it difficult to apply in real-world situations. Because it does not consider consequences, it sometimes leads to decisions that may seem morally troubling. For example, if telling the truth would put someone in danger, Kantian ethics would still insist on honesty, even if lying would have saved a life. Another weakness is that it assumes all moral decisions can be based on reason alone, ignoring the role of emotions and relationships in ethical choices. People do not always think logically, and moral decisions are often influenced by compassion, loyalty, or personal circumstances. These limitations suggest that Kantian ethics, while consistent, may not always be practical in complex moral dilemmas. There are several alternative ethical theories that offer different perspectives from Kantian ethics. One alternative is utilitarianism, which focuses on consequences rather than rules. It argues that the right action is the one that produces the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, even if it means breaking moral rules in some cases. Another alternative is virtue ethics, which emphasizes developing good character traits like kindness, courage, and wisdom, rather than following strict moral laws. A third alternative is care ethics, which prioritizes relationships and emotions in moral decision-making, arguing that ethical choices should consider compassion and human connection. Each of these alternatives provides a different approach to understanding morality and making ethical decisions.